Then I'll be giving this to you guys. So basically, you will receive Cambridge 5. There, Cambridge 5. But don't do the ones that we've done. Okay. Okay, so let's start the timer. So this is Cambridge 5, reading passage 1. We'll just do one reading passage, guys. So there you go. That's the reading passage. Very thick, guys. Lots of words. And then we saw list of headings are at 3. And then yes, no, not given is at 6. Typical, no, guys? Typical. And then you have 4 items, 1 word only. Sige, so we'll do that first. Peidang no. Peidang no. Okay, so Jeff, this is how we do it. So we don't read, no? Wait, I need a pen. Okay, yan, draw. So Jeff, I'm on the 3. Di ba list of
Sure.
headings yun? Di ba? So that's kind of hard. When I say hard, ibig sabihin you'll have to read the entire section. Can you look at that? Oh, yung section C, oh, that's really big, oh. Oh my God, mag-assign ka ng heading for that, man. That's a lot of reading. Kaya later ka na. And then itong yes, no, not given. So basically, you're just looking for a sentence naman there, no? So mamaya na yan. Dito tayo sa easiest one. Peidang no. Peidang no. Peidang no. Peidang no. The positive ways in which some local communities have responded to tourism. Amy, have you done this? Cambridge 5 to. James,
Hmm?
have you done
Not
it?
yet, sir. Not
Not
yet,
yet.
sir.
Mm. Okay. So, we will look for peidang no. Peidang no. Positive ways in which some local communities have responded to tourism. Mhm. Okay. Pam is coming in. Mhm. Do you see Swiss pay dang no? Dang no? Pay dang no? Wala akong makitang Swiss pay dang no. Pay dang no. Dong no. Dong no. Ayun ang Swiss. Yun, we found some Swiss. Ayun, nakita ko na.
Parang
Ano,
nasa
sir?
E.
Ayun,
Ayun,
there.
ganun, sir.
Yun, so, read na tayo, guys. In the Swiss Alps, communities have decided that their future depends on integrating tourism more effectively with the local economy. Local concern about the rising number of second home developments in the Swiss Pays d'Agno resulted in limits being imposed on their growth. Second home developments, ang yayaman naman nila. Second homes, my God, parang kotse lang, nag-iipon ng bahay. There's also been a renaissance in communal cheese production. Ayun. In the area, providing the locals with a reliable source of income that does not depend on outside visitors. So there's been a renaissance, rebirth in communal cheese production. So one word only, cheese. Diba? Cheese. Cheese, say cheese. Cheese.
Cheers.
Cheese. Okay. Yan. Arctic communities operate blank businesses. Yan na, many of the Arctic tourist destinations have been exploited by outside companies who employ transient workers and repatriate most of the profits to their home base. But some Arctic communities are now operating tour businesses. Yon, tour.
Tour.
Thereby ensuring that the benefits accrue locally. Ooh, what a nice word, oh, accrue. For instance, a native corporation in Alaska employing local people is running an air tour from Anchorage to Kotzebue, where tourists eat Arctic food, walk on the tundra, and watch local musicians and dancers. So tour. Okay. Parang mga cultural tours, no? Okay. And baba na tayo, guys. So, while we're doing that, guys, we're getting an idea about C, no? Kasi we will answer C later. Diba? The paragraph. And a coma and San Ildefonso. Yon. Native people in the desert regions of the American Southwest have followed similar strategies, encouraging tourists to visit their pueblos and reservations to produce high-quality handicraft and artwork. Yun. Artwork, handicraft. The Acoma and San Ildefonso pueblos have established, pottery. Pottery businesses, while the Navajo and Hopi groups have been similarly successful with jewelry, pottery siya, guys. Pottery. Yan, pot na lang, pot. Yeah. And then, ayun, Navajo and Hopi.
Jewelry, sir.
Jewelry. Okay. So, guys, sumanta tayo. Jewelry. Okay. And then, guys, since we are now familiar with all of these, parang all of these are examples, no, guys? Basahin na rin natin yung the rest of it. Too many people living in fragile environments have lost control over their economies, their culture, and their environment when tourism has penetrated their homelands. Merely restricting tourism cannot be the solution to the imbalance because people's desire to see new places will not just disappear. Instead, communities in fragile environments, this is so nice, must achieve greater control over tourism ventures in their regions in order to balance the needs and aspirations with the demands of tourism. A growing number of communities are demonstrating that with firm communal decision making, this is possible. The critical question now is whether this can become the norm rather than the exception. Studies about the problems of tourism have become legion in the last few years. No? Sumibig sabihin, dami. Yet it doesn't have to be a problem. Although tourism inevitably affects the region in which it takes place, the cost to these fragile environments and their local cultures can be minimized. Okay, so indeed, it can be a vehicle for reinvigorating local cultures. Nice. As has happened with the Sherpas of Nepal's Kumbu Valley and in some alpine villages. Okay. Sherpas, Nepal, alpine villages, and a growing number of adventure tourism operators are trying to ensure that their activities benefit the local population and environment over the long term. So more or less, we get an idea what C is, guys. Akit na tayo sa this one. No, it's not one. Parang two, no, guys. Ay, wilderness. Bakit wilderness? Hindi naman four. Hindi. Itong wilderness, guys, so saan kaya yan? Tanggal na yan. Hindi naman mass tourism. What do you think, guys? 3? Ay, 4? Or 3? What you think? 4 or 3? Any ideas? May sagot na ako, guys. What's your answer? Go, go, go.
3 nga, sir, kasi may region din dun sa letter C. Although, tourism inevitably
Fragile
affects...
regions, di ba? Ayan, oh, fragile. Oh, yan, oh, fragile. And the reason for the expansion of tourism there, the reason for the expansion of tourism.
Yun, sir, oh. I know the future depends on integrating tourism more effectively.
Kahit ano lang, guys.
Growing number of adventure tourists.
So it's not 5, it's not 2. Hindi naman 6.
Parang 4, sir.
4.
Food.
Guys, parang 4 siya. Okay. I think it's 4. Any final guesses?
the cost to these fragile environments, sir, kasi and their local cultures can be minimized.
4 yan. 4. Yan. Okay. So guys, let's leave that. Baba na tayo sa true false not given. Mabilis, mabilis. The low financial cost of setting up wilderness tourism makes it attractive to many countries. So kanina pa yung wilderness tourism na yan. Yan. Guys, nandito siya. Low financial cost. Ayun oh, there is no cost. Yan na guys. Yun. Okay. Ayan na yung ayun, the effects are profound. Yan, I'm already skimming and scanning, guys. My hill regions. Yan, may mga problems dito, guys, no? Decline in farm output. Yun. Ito naman sa Arctic and desert societies. Okay, mga problems tong B, guys. Parang B is all about problems. Tapos the physical impact, erosion, deforestation, water supplies, yun. Okay, more or less we get so this is all about wilderness tourism na. Let's go. The market for tourism in remote areas is booming as never before. Countries all over the world are actively promoting their wilderness regions, such as mountains, Arctic lands, deserts, small islands, and wetlands, to high-spending tourists. The attraction of these areas is obvious. By definition, wilderness tourism requires little or no initial investment. But that doesn't mean there's no cost. As the 1992 UN Conference on Environment Development recognized, these regions are fragile. Yun yung cost niya, no? Highly vulnerable to abnormal pressures, not just in terms of their ecology, but also in terms of the culture of the inhabitants. The 3 most significant types of fragile environments in these respects, and also in terms of proportion of the Earth's surface they cover, are deserts, mountains, and Arctic areas. An important characteristic is their marked seasonality. Okay. With harsh conditions prevailing for many months each year. Consequently, most human activities, including tourism, are limited to quite clearly defined parts of the year. So parang meron siyang, that's what you call what do you call that, guys? Only in certain times of the year. What do you call that? So the low financial cost of setting up makes it attractive to many countries. Countries all over the world are promoting their wilderness regions. Diba, guys? What do you call that, guys? Seasonal. Yun, that's the one I was thinking. The attraction is obvious. Oh, there is no cost. So guys, ano sagot? Diba? Malinaw mo, nandun oh. The attraction is obvious. Oh, there is no cost. Oh, what's the answer? Let's go.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then the good news is nababasa na natin yung A, guys. Konti na lang matatapos na yung A. Deserts, mountains, Arctic regions are examples of environments that are both ecologically and culturally fragile. I see. The 3 most significant types of fragile environment in these respects. Itong these respects, guys, refer to ecology, correct? And the culture of their inhabitants, correct? Diba? Ayun o, seasonality. So, desert mountain are examples of environments that are both ecologically and culturally fragile. Oh, you know, ecology, culture, winner. Diba? Yes na naman.
Yes, ulit.
Oo, yung number 6, hindi na yes yan. Wilderness tourism operates throughout the year in fragile areas. No! You know, seasonality. An important characteristic is their marked seasonality. So no. Then the spread of tourism in certain hill regions has resulted in a fall in the amount of food produced locally. Tourists are drawn to these regions by their natural landscape beauty and the unique cultures of their indigenous people. So ito yung ecology, and then it is the culture naman of the indigenous people. And poor governments in these isolated areas have welcomed the new breed of adventure tourists, grateful for the hard currency they bring. For several years now, tourism has been a prime source of exchange in Nepal and Bhutan. Tourism is also a key element in the economies of Arctic zones. Oh, there are mga tourist sa Arctic zones. Okay. And in the desert areas such as Ayers Rock in Australia and Arizona Monument Valley. Doon na tayo sa A, guys. Doon na tayo sa A. Wait, nasagot na natin yung 4, di ba? Tanggal na yan. Get out of the way. Itong disruptive effects, guys, parang nakita ko siya dito, di ba? O, di ba yun, oh? O, profound daw, oh. Ayan na yung mga examples, oh. O, parang alam ko na yung B. Di ba? Baka 6. Hindi siya 5. Pwede siyang 3. No, guys, 3. Kasi the reasons for the expansion are ecological, di ba? And cultural. Ayun, oh, cultural. Di ba, guys? Tama? Itong economic benefits, hindi ko naman nabanggit yung mass tourism. Ito hindi naman yan. So it's not 2, it's not 5. It is 3. Tama, guys? Yun, o doon na lang sa B, guys. B na lang natitira. Attack! Attack, attack, attack! The spread of tourism in certain hill regions has resulted in the fall in the amount of food produced locally. Ayan o, hill farmers. Let's go. Once a location is established as a main tourist destination, the effects on the local community are profound. When hill farmers, for example, can make more money in a few weeks working as porters for foreign trekkers, porters, tagadala lang ng mga gamit ng tourists, and they can, in a year, working in their fields. Oo nga naman, ba't sila magtatanim? It's not surprising that many of them give up their farm work. What? Which is thus left to other members of the family. In some hill regions, this has led to a serious decline in farm output and a change in the local diet. What? Umiinom na sila ng Starbucks because there is insufficient labor to maintain terraces and irrigation systems and tend to crops. The result has been that many people in these regions have turned to outside supplies of rice. Naging exporter na lang sila, guys, kasi marami na silang pera. The spread of tourism certainly results in the fall in the amount of food produced locally. Oh, yes na naman, guys. Diba? The fall in the amount of food produced locally. Yes na naman. Diba? Agree?
Oo, sir, yes po.
Yes. And then traditional food gathering desert society was distributed. Desert societies. Year-round survival as traditionally dependent on hunting animals and fishing, collecting fruit over a relatively short season. However, as some inhabitants became involved in tourism, they no longer have time to collect wild food. This has led to increasing dependence on bought food and stores. Tourism is not always the culprit behind such changes. All kinds of wage labor or government handouts tend to undermine traditional survival system. Whatever the cost, the dilemma is always the same. What happens if these new external sources of income dry up? Desert society. Ayan, desert societies, no, guys? Traditional food gathering. Ayan yung traditional food gathering, yung collecting fruits over a relatively short season.
Halika, benta tayo dito, Jamo.
So, na naman. Ala,
Wala pang not given, sir.
sige, basta we have an answer. Government handouts do more damage than tourism does to traditional patterns of food gathering. Ayan yung government handouts tend to undermine kasi tourism daw is not always the culprit. Yan, minsan binibigyan sila ng ayuda kaya pag may ayuda, buy na lang, huwag na magtanim, 'di ba? Pero not given. Do more damage daw than tourism.
Yan, sir, not given nga. Wala man sinabing
Wala naman
damage.
ako nakitang do more damage, no? Wala 'yon. Yun, it does damage pero we don't know if it's more damaging. Oh guys, patapos na tayo. Oh. Isang paragraph na lang. Let's murder! Attack dragon! The physical impact of visitors is another serious problem associated with the growth of adventure tourism. Much attention is focused on erosion along major trails, but perhaps more important are the deforestation and impacts on water supplies arising from the need to provide tourists with cooked food and hot showers. O nga naman, kailangan nila ng hotel. In both mountain and desert, slow-growing trees are often the main source of fuel. What? Don't cut the trees! And water supplies may be limited or vulnerable to degradation through heavy use. So, yun na ba yung mass tourism, guys? So, wala na yung 3. Hindi naman 2. 5. Di ba, guys? 5. Di ba?
Sir, baliktad po yata yung sagot nyo. Section B na po yung sinasagutan natin, tama?
Ay, mali.
Nasa,
Okay. So, that is 5. Ito naman is 3. Yay! 22 minutes. Terrible. Okay, lumampas tayo ng konti, guys. Yun. Perfect yan, guys. Okay, let's try. So, again, that's the typical strategy. Baba muna tayo sa one word only. Akit tayo sa list of headings. Baba tayo sa true, false, not given. Akit ulit sa list of headings. Ganun, no, guys? That is how we attack it. Okay. Test 4. Test 4 ba to? Yan na. Where is it? Yes, no. Yes, no, not given. I think we perfected it. 3, 5, set. Oh my God, mali tayo dun, oh. What the? What the fish?
yeah.
What the fish? Bakit?
Local community.
Gamali ako lang. What the fish? Okay. Yo, ako ng one mistake. So perfect. Only perfect will do. So we got the yes, no. Yes, no, not given. Cheese, tourism, pottery, jewelry. One mistake, guys. Lagi na lang ako 8.5. I hate it. Yan, we'll stop recording. Lagi na lang 8. There's always one that gets to me. Bakit ganun? Ayoko kasi. Tama. Kasi iniisip ko to yung. Pero tama naman yun ng traditional methods of food supply and fudging. Oh, it really is all about that. That is the greater answer, no? Tama naman to, pero mas tama yun. Diba, guys? 8.5. Oh, one mistake. Oh. Nilis ako, dapat 9. Okay, we'll stop the recording, guys.